Greetings, wrestling fans. This is Tim Hott. I recently came back to YouTube under my own profile channel to work on a project where I go back and rewatch or watch for the first time some classic wrestling and work my way through each show with the noteworthy pieces of debuts, new moves. How did we get to where we are now? What shaped the way that things are being booked? What were the big missteps? What were the great successes? And in doing so, I stumbled upon some of my old videos, one of which being my WWF LJN collection video, which has humbly and quietly moved its way to 1,700 views. So thank you everyone who viewed that video. It's not a incredible number by any means if you compare it to YouTube, but for me it's the most views that I have up to this point. But anyways, some great comments here that I just wanted to talk to because I didn't know that they were here. Some of these comments are 6 months old, some of them are 2 years old. And I never responded because I didn't get any kind of notification that people were viewing this and commenting and were interested. So Just a Fan of Nerd Culture says, just an absolutely beautiful collection, sir. Thank you for that. Love the LJN WWF figures so much. Agreed. I watched a show with Conrad Thompson and Brian Myers and Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, going through all of these figures, and Conrad kept calling them dog toys. And if you watch the Toys That Made Us, they kind of disregard these as well. And how can you do that? Just a Fan of Nerd Culture to finishes up with a major part of my childhood. And the very first toys that I got were the LJN figures. I was kind of in a weird age group where the transition was on. LJNs were wrapping up, Hasbros were on the way. But thank you very much for the comment. Anita Wells gave 2 comments because I didn't answer her. I have some questions. How did you get the full set? Where did you get those figures? And the best of them all, what's your favorite figure line? Which, that's a tough one. So I did respond to Anita on here. I don't know if she'll see it. Same way I didn't see her comment. I got the full set through work, through curating, mainly online. I now live in a place where there are probably a good 10 vintage toy stores within an hour of me, but it's rare to find good quality LJNs. And one of the things that's key for me when I buy something, unless it's incredibly rare, is that I want it to be clean and complete. I want it to not show signs of play or wear. It's different for the figures in my collection that were mine as a kid because they certainly got their use. But it's a matter of, you know, creating some searches, being active in the groups, and making sure that, you know, your needs are met. The market's so crazy now that it's almost easier to trade than it is to buy, unless you have a lot of money. What is my favorite figure? I think I read that wrong the first time. I think I said favorite figure line. Probably, and it's, you know, relatively common. My heart is going to, so I guess it is Series 1 Randy Macho Man Savage Hasbro. I had a shot. I like to think I had a shot when Mark Bushy sold Matt Cardona the JCPenney Green Trunks variant, but if we're being honest, I didn't have the money. I didn't make an offer because I knew I didn't have the money, and whatever I would have offered would have been insulting. At that point, I have not spent the amount of money that I have grown to spend in this hobby. That would be a grail for me, for sure. It's not leaving Cardona's collection. He feels the same way about the Macho Man that I do. Macho Man is my favorite, and he always, when I'd play with my figures, regardless of the era, he'd be a top guy and often babyface world champion. For the Collectors 27 says, I'm still waiting on your WCW LJN style and your Jack's Pacific videos from 96 to 99. I don't know if maybe I said that I was going to do that. I certainly can. You have people out here like me that really love this type of stuff. Us collectors, stuff is in quotes. Us collectors, we can only speak to other collectors because it's a passion. That's really pretty true. This is one of the collections here on YouTube I look at least 4 times a year or more. Awesome. I'm glad that I made a video that was valuable in that way to revisit. And I think that I've shortchanged myself when I've made other videos by laying out everything I have and just kind of glossing over it. That video only has 200 views by comparison. So, you know, there's a chance to really break these down, you know, on a more micro level, and really, you know, look at series or each figure individually. So maybe that's what we have to do. WCW LJN style, I have them all. So yeah, that might be the next place to go. The Jimmy Hart Error variant from Series 1, I believe, was the last figure that I got. It took me quite a long time to find at a reasonable price. Someone who was hiking up the market by posting it on eBay for $1,000 or something ridiculous probably delayed my ability to find the figure for quite a while. But I do have it loose in my collection. And the Teal Trunks short run Kmart exclusive Ric Flair figure, I have 2 because I traded one that was carded for a boxed Roddy Piper 16-inch LJN, which I thought was a great trade for me at the time. And then I found a loose one, and I mainly collect loose, in the junk bin at Mike's Vintage Toys in Dayton, Ohio, and bought it for $5. So that's why you go out and hunt. You never know what you'll find in the wild. Go to toy shows, you know, support local businesses, support the small toy shops, keep them going, especially in this difficult time. But yeah, I'll definitely look toward making more videos to talk about collecting and figures, because I just like talking about that anyway. Jesus Christ My King says you should do more videos talking about each figure, showing them up close with a camera with stories of your childhood. Okay. Thank you for that suggestion. I should have listened to it 2 years ago when you first made it. Rich A, 2 years ago. Awesome complete LJN open collection. Nice commentary. Thank you very much. Keep in mind most LJN figures have color variants and what I call accessory variants. This is true. Which leads me to tag teams that came with belts reference, Wikipedia, LJN, WWF Wrestling Superstars, Strikeforce, black belts. All other teams had the same brown. I think Hart Foundation, Dream Team, Valentine Beefcake, Sheik Volkov, Bulldogs, Killer Bees, Hogan Hillbilly Jim. Please don't open sealed versions. Please. Thanks for sharing and inspiring. So I don't know about the black tag belts. Happy to talk to people that I know. I imagine since, you know, this is 2 years old, that you're probably in the same groups I am and have the same contacts and can ask the same questions. Yeah, we'll get a discussion going on that. In regards to opening sealed versions, I don't. So I had some cool ones on card that were harder to find in good condition, loose. And I ended up trading them for the loose ones plus some other things. I had a carded $1 Million Man and a carded white shirt Hogan. They went for the loose versions of those figures. Plus, I know with one of them, I got the Jake Roberts wrestling buddy. I'd have to go back through and look through those chats to figure out exactly what those trades were. But I thought they were fair and even, and I think that that's important. You want both guys to walk away from the table feeling like they got what they wanted and not feeling like they got ripped off. So if you're trading, you know, it's not a me first proposition. It's, you know, how do we both walk away happy? But thank you for the great comments. I did open some of the carded later WCW figures to get them loose into my collection because that's what I could find at the time, and they're harder to display. The only one I've kept on card is the Ric Flair. I have some later Jakks figures and some later Mattel figures on card. I have the AEW figures in the box. Some of my newer stuff is in the box, but most of my classic stuff is not. But if it's something that's vintage, something that is not easily attainable, this, if you're familiar with the Bendems, is a pretty difficult to find, difficult to get figure. I would take it loose, but I'm not going to open this because I don't think that's fair. I think that, you know, it deserves a chance to get back into the market if that opportunity ever comes. So APMUMBP, APMUMBUP. Love your collection. Love the fact you have all the accessories. For a guy looking to start his collection from scratch and get to your level, all the figures plus accessories, what would you recommend? I actually did respond to this one, so I don't know how this works. This was only 9 months ago. All the figures plus accessories, what do you recommend? Besides taking my time and saving up, which is really it. How much do you think it would cost me? What's the best place to look for them besides eBay? Again, you are where I'd love to be one day, plus the ring without the cage. With and without the cage, stay safe. That's a cool concept because I have three, that's a lie, I have two LJN rings and I have two of the later Jakks rings that are the same style. Never thought about displaying one with the cage and displaying one without. And I don't display my rings, I have them all tucked away. But my answer was I started buying a lot. The big money and hard to find items are in the later series, the black cards. That's where the big money is. It might be worth it to start there and work backwards. I do think that that makes sense. With AWA Remcos, I bought a big lot at a toy show, having no idea what I was getting myself into, but I couldn't resist the first Ric Flair figure, the first Road Warriors figures, and then finding out, you know, Scott Hall's first in the line. Shawn Michaels is first in the line. Mr. Perfect is first in the line. You have that kind of similar Hulk Hogan Thunder Lips figure that isn't really part of it, but to me, I just throw it in there. There was enough meat on the bone, but I had no idea what I was getting into when it came to the Sheik, Boris Zukov, Nord the Barbarian. So, you know, do your research when you're getting into a line. You know, since the stimulus, the market has gone crazy to the point where I'm almost considering or have considered, you know, should I flip mine? But I'm not in it for that. Set limits. Just because something is posted for something on eBay or in a group doesn't mean that's its value. Check the eBay sold listings and set a bar of what you think is a range that you're comfortable paying. And, you know, stay vigilant, and maybe, you know, if you're patient enough over time, the market will come back down. So you'll have the option to probably get these for less down the road, or people are going to buy them. This was my concern. Keep them, and they're not going to show back up in this way, and they'll be even harder to find and be even more expensive. So I feel like I got in at a really good time. You know, I had a lot of things from my childhood, which helped. The rest, you know, I feel like I got in before the boom. But there's going to be a bubble, right, for every market. So I see a lot of people seemingly moving out of it now. I can't predict those types of things the same way a financial advisor, you know, this is for entertainment only. I'm not trying to give you financial advice as in regards to these as an investment, but just set your limits, understand where you want to be, and then just go everywhere where you can find potentially toys. Comic book stores sometimes have them. Sports card stores sometimes have them. Anywhere where they do a lot of buying and selling, thrift stores, you know, just pound the pavement and look online. Some items are super rare. Some items are super sought after. They're not always the same ones. some things are going to be costly. Those Remcos I just talked about, these Series 15 Bendems like the one I just showed, the Hasbro mailaways, there are still 2 that I do not have, which I wish I would have bought years ago when I could have gotten them for $500, when I was scoffing at the idea of spending $500 for a plastic toy from 2 decades ago. But that's the way that, you know, things work and move. Rich A says, P.S. Who is LJN King? I don't know how I referenced this in the video. I haven't watched it back in quite a while. LJN King, I don't want to, you know, I had an interaction with him early on because he essentially probably is the guy that had the view of what I hoped to obtain. He had multiples of each figure, and I'm like, you know, what would it cost me for you to pull one of each and sell it to me? And the feedback that I got on him after that deal never went through made me thankful that we never made that deal. I don't know. People called into question the legitimacy of his collection, which I can't speak on. People called into question his character. All I know is that I tried to make a deal with him. We didn't get to the finish line for whatever reason. It's been a long time. I don't remember. And yeah, no hard feelings there. Do I still have the carded Hogan and DiBiase? If so, maybe we can work something out. So as I mentioned recently traded those. And this is something too where I guess we've had like the back and forth, and then at the end you said, I just realized you replied to me. Same. These comments are not the best places to be aware of what's going on if you're not checking them in real time. Someone else asked me, do I have any for sale? I have a small amount of duplicates. I am not currently trying to move anything with the way that things are with the post office and shipping. The last group of things I sent out had a LJN style Jakks Classics Undertaker in it that I sent, and I was unfortunately in the middle of a move, so the shipping receipt that I would have gotten when I sent it got lost, probably thrown away with a big stack of papers that were deemed non-essential. And then the person came back to me on eBay and said, hey, this never came. You know, most likely it's delays with the post office that everybody's dealing with. I just refunded him. It wasn't worth the hassle, but I also told myself I am not shipping anything until this is over. So it'd be local sales only and I do not have enough quantity at this stage of duplicate items to, you know, put a booth up at a toy show or anything like that. So it'll be a while before I'm probably selling. That's a clean, crisp set. I actually like the WCW set better than the LJNs. They seem to jump out with you with the colors. They're like an inch smaller, and it's been on my mind about collecting them. I like both. I only got into the WCW figures because I inherited the ones from my cousin that he received on like the first Christmas that like the rest of us were too old to get toys, and we had nothing to do at my aunt's house, and we just all played with them. He decided he didn't want to keep his childhood figures and gave them to me, which was a big kind of booster for me in collecting. I got a Black Trunks Shawn Michaels out of that, you know, like, I mean, he had some nice stuff. Love you, Matt. I can't say I like them more than the LJNs because they don't have that nostalgia to me, and they don't have, you know, there's some cool ones, don't get me wrong. I mean, like the Sting variants, the Hogans, the Savages, the Flairs, but all in all, you know, you got a Craig Pitbull Pittman instead of an Arn Anderson, and maybe that's something to go through too, you know, when we talk about these, who got figures and who didn't, and when does and doesn't that make sense. To each their own. It's a nice set. They are smaller. You can certainly fit more of them into your case. It's a tricky line. People might think, oh, it's newer, it's less sought after, it'll be easier to collect. It depends on where you decide your cutoff is. If you want that Teal Trunks Flair, if you want that dark skin Jimmy Hart variant, and even really like the Blue Harlem Heat, some of the Stings, there's certain things that are hard to find in that line as well. So I'm going to jump off of here, and I will come back with what's looming over my shoulder here, and just like a quick tour of the toy room. And if you're able to see this and make comments, hopefully I'll check them, and you can let me know what you want to see up close or further, and we can talk figs. Thanks for all the great comments. Thanks for 1,700 views of my last video. I doubt this one will go as far, but hopefully we get into some good content, because certainly I have the collection behind me that could lead to, some good conversations. So thank you so much for watching.
So I've moved into my house. I've been here 2 months and a week now, so don't judge me on the state of everything. But I also collect Masters of the Universe vintage, so I have all the vehicles, all the figures, all the castles, and I have the means to complete them all 100%, including Eternia. But that is not done. I do want to get a nice display cabinet and do something of a diorama in this general area. It'll probably have to be custom made, which is going to, of course, cost money, so we might not be there quite yet. Recently was at Walmart looking for AEW and WWE Motu figures and was unable to find those, but did pick up the kind of retro Ghostbusters just because I think they're fun. Recently found in the wild Shawn Michaels autographed Mattel Elite. I do not typically pick up. This was actually on sale for Christmas at the store that I bought it for, which is wild. Feel like it was just too good to pass up, so I took it. Series 1 and 2 of the WWE Motu, very hard to find. 3 and 4. I got a lot of people in my area, I think, that, go to the store, buy everything to resell it. One of the things as a collector that I just think is just a huge breach of etiquette and ethics is to do exactly that. To me, you don't sell right after a wrestler is deceased. You don't go and buy all the stock of current toys at Walmart to go immediately to eBay and the internet to resell them. It's different if they're dead stock, but when they're live, I think that that's inappropriate. The other thing that I see in some of these groups is people going to the store with these style of boxes, pulling the figures out, putting something in that they don't want, and returning it. Just crushing the hobby for the people that really love and are passionate about it. And I don't like those three things. People say it's a free country, or I got here first, or whatever. Those are the type of holes that ruin everything for everyone. The Snake Mountain ring, and then underneath it is the Gray Skull ring. Set 1 of the Ninja Turtles. Got these down the road at a place that I'd like to go back and revisit relatively soon, because, man, they get a lot of things in. I'd love to know what their distribution, how they receive the things that they receive. So you've seen most of these before, the LJNs. Got the thumbs in with them, including the Bundy thumb. We'll go deeper on this at another time. You got, the Warlord coming to greet you. And not easy now that this light is here to reset him. But this room needs painted anyway, so I'm not, too terribly concerned with those types of things. But you want to talk Hasbros? We can talk Hasbros. We can talk mini Hasbros. We can talk Applause cake toppers. We can talk retros. That Elias back there is hit me like it was a Luke Harper Brody Lee figure right as I came down, and with everything with him, the emotion of the tributes to him this week stopped me a little bit. But yeah, you got all your Series 11 Hasbros. Those are all from my childhood. So even like Ludwig Borga is not perfect. He has a broken middle finger. So I can't say it's as immaculate as maybe some people expect collections to be, but a lot of it is. It's in good shape. AWA Remco's in the back. I always think this is a travesty, and I need a new case. so that they're not so crowded. The Jack's Justtoys Bendems in front of those. The Justtoys Twistables in front of those. And the WCW Galoob figures in front of those. Great sets. I think the Galoobs are such an underrated set, and I know I got some buddies in the toy groups that agree with me. In the back, you have the LJN Classics, and this was kind of difficult. Sean's falling over too. This was kind of difficult to do. Like, for the most part, this is my heel case, but this was the one line that really had too many baby faces, and I had to split them up somehow. That teal flare, I mentioned earlier that $5, so that's a great deal. The AEW title, I'm not a big belt fan, but I just like supporting AEW because I like there to be alternatives. The Young Bucks, LJN style, probably will never come out of the package. The Flair Galoob, the Sid Galoob, Rikishi Bendem, the Taz Bendem is here behind my Kurt Angle picture. Got a cool custom Macho Man there. Macho Man is my favorite wrestler, so people will tend to get me more Macho Man things, and I always appreciate those. Young Bucks Pop, Hogan Talking Hasbro, the WCW posable figures, 14-inch, the Hogan and the Rodman, the Savage and Elizabeth. Some of these things just landed where they are. I'm not sure where they'll ultimately go. Some other things I'm interested in to make this shelf. This is all going to get cleaned up, but there's your 16-inch, some bubble bath and some lunch boxes. And there's more stuff in tubs that, isn't in this room. Cody and Kenny, Warrior, Goldberg and Sting, missing the white Sting from that set. Junkyard Dog, can't bring myself to rip him out of the package, would trade him for a loose. Another Macho Man. Got the Ghostbusters. Got the AEW guys over here. Again, most of these LJNs have been seen, but some of them are probably newer. Jake Thumb. White Shirt Hogan. Purple Skirt Liz. Get down into the Hasbro gang. Hogan Mail Away. Shawn Michaels' first figure chilling back there. Mr. Perfect's first figure chilling back there. Scott Hall's first figure chilling back there. Big Josh with the original axe handle. I, glossed over Luger with his chain. That was a big purchase for me at the time. More of the classics. That Jimmy Hart is, I think, the last real big figure I bought. I also got some stuff here that I need to figure out what to do with. I got all the old style cards. Slamming variants. This is a box of different Silverhawks toys, which are hard to come by and mean a lot to me from my childhood. So I decided to pick those up again too. Will I get into other lines? I don't know. It's a fun hobby to have. This is my guest room. And in here I got, like I said, tubs. One of these tubs has all of the ECW figures. I think it's this one on card. All my Jakks Pacifics are in that gray tub in the back. So there's a good bit of things to dig out and talk about and figure out how to display. I think that maybe the best time to do a lot of this stuff is when I actually get around to painting. So thank you all for the 1,700 views on my previous video. I know that this video is not the quality of that video, and we don't have the real discussion here. But what I'd like for you to do is, if you do see this one, let me know what you want to dive in further on. what you'd like to see front and back, top and bottom, side to side, what lines or series you want to chat about. And I'm super open to creating content that you would actually want to see. That's the goal, right? So thank you for watching this. Sorry for its length, and let's talk figures.